take a deep breath for this one. Because, man, I'm about to say something on the show that in my wildest dreams, I never thought I would say. Here goes. I'm selling my stock on Russell Wilson. I'm out. Not only was that performance bad, it was darn near unacceptable. You're at home. And we can blame Nathaniel Hackett all we want. He deserved a lot of blame. To me, the majority of the blame for the first 4 games of this season. 2-2, lucky to be 2-2 at that point. Should have been 1-3 because they should have lost to San Francisco if not for Jimmy Garoppolo. Bad clock management, zero creativity offensively. Sticking with Melvin Gordon, who still cannot hang on to the football over Javonte Williams until he got hurt. You have the end of the Seattle game. Whether you agree they should now, looking back, hindsight is very much 2020. If you think they should have kicked the field goal, if they should have went for it, whatever the case may be. The bad clock management leading up to that point was unacceptable on the part of Nathaniel Hackett. Really, the only constant for the Broncos this year is their defense has been phenomenal, and it was last night. Now, albeit that is a Colts offense that is struggling mightily. Matt Ryan did not play well whatsoever. Again, you won the game. You scored 12 points. Okay, the offense deserves just about as much credit or about as little credit as a team could get for a victory. It's a shame that a team had to win that game last night. It's one of the worst football games. I'm not going to come out and say it's the worst game I've ever watched. It's one of the worst, though. I can't think of a worse one right now at the top of my head. Point being, Broncos defense has been great. But last night, a lot of pressure. You're at home. You are facing an inferior football team. I don't think any of us think Matt Ryan's better than Russell Wilson. Nobody thinks that the Colts have a better defense, especially without Shaq Leonard, than the Denver Broncos do. Jonathan Taylor is out. The Colts wide receiving unit is not very good. As a matter of fact, that Hines kid, God bless him, I hope he's okay, had that scary concussion. I don't know what it is about Thursday night games and concussions, man, but hopefully he's all right. They had to go to their third-string running back, a former Bronco, Phillip Lindsay, who the Broncos cut a few years ago, and they won the game. And number one, and it is not even a discussion, number one on the blame list is one Russell Wilson. You guys know I've been a massive Russell Wilson fan really since he came into the league in 2012. Loved the way he carried himself. Loved his, especially early in his career, really showed a great clutch gene. His numbers never really blew you away, but he'd win big games against Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and outdueling some of the best quarterbacks in the NFC. Got Seattle to back-to-back Super Bowls, and even when they weren't making the Super Bowl, he was the MVP discussion and putting up big numbers and winning divisions and playoff games despite not having a great offensive line. And at the end in Seattle, not a great defense. And he comes to Denver. I said, man, as a matter of fact, I was an idiot to predict the Broncos to win the Super Bowl a month ago. That doesn't look too good today. But you come to Denver. I felt like he got an upgrade at wide receiver. I kind of still feel that way. You got a better running game than what you left in Seattle. Not that the Seahawks don't have a better running game now, but what Russell left. You have without a question, a significantly better defense in Denver than you had in Seattle. Yeah, division's tougher, but today you look around the AFC West, Kansas City's Kansas City, man. They're not going anywhere. Okay, I tried to warn you all about the Chiefs for the season. They weren't going anywhere. Not with Mahomes and Andy Reid. The Chargers, I told you, I'd be disappointing. And the Raiders were 1-3. It's not like the division has been a gauntlet outside of the Kansas City Chiefs. And in what is probably the easiest part of the Broncos' schedule, Seattle, Houston, Niners, that's a tough one. Raiders, Colts. Russell has not played well in any of those games. He played fine against the Raiders, but overall in these 5 games now, he has been absolutely atrocious. He has not been accurate. He's not run the ball well, which we were accustomed to him doing so well in Seattle. And listen, I was on Team Russell when it came to forcing his way out of Seattle to a seemingly better situation. But when for a year before the trade, you are very public. You don't like how the Seahawks are doing business. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You feel like let Russ cook, right? He can be successful anywhere. It's just the Seahawks won't let him because of their more conservative offensive philosophy. Man, I buy that. I mean, look at some of the numbers this guy's put up with a conservative system. Okay, so he goes to Denver. Upgraded all the positions I mentioned. Not only are they 2-3, Russell has yet to play well. He's got a career low in completion percentage. The Broncos have scored 3 touchdowns in the red zone. 3. They're the worst red zone team in the NFL. And in their games, in their 5 games this season, the Denver Broncos have scored 17, 16, 11, 23, 9. They have one game cracking 20 points. They had another game where they cracked 10 points because of a safety. Another game last night where not only they failed to score a touchdown, they failed to break double digits. We saw that play at the end of the game, the 4th and 1. By the way, got no problem with Nathaniel Hackett going for it. I've been very critical of Nathaniel Hackett, rightfully so. But in that game, it's 12-9. You're down inside the 5-yard line. You put together a pretty good drive. Yeah, I'm good with them going for it. Absolutely. I'm even fine with them throwing it there. It's 4th down. If it's 3rd down, you run the football. 4th down, I got no issue with it. Slot receiver Hamler is wide open. And Russell, I had thought initially, when you look at the film of the last play, does a good job of looking in the direction of Courtland Sutton, and gets the defender to bite. All the Colts secondary, they're playing man-to-man coverage to bite on that side of the field because they're thinking, oh, Courtland Sutton's the best receiver in the field. He's going to go to him. But the truly elite quarterbacks are going to look at Sutton, look the defender off, hit the slot receiver, touchdown, game's over, all's forgiven. But he didn't. And to make matters worse, KJ Hamler, back of the end zone, what does he do? He takes his helmet off, slams on the turf, is as angry as he could be. I don't know. Do you think Mike Evans is doing that in Tampa with Tom Brady? Do you think Travis Kelce is doing that with Patrick Mahomes? Do you think that Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis, you think they're doing that in Buffalo for Josh Allen? I mean, we've had plenty of quarterbacks. Heck, Justin Fields receivers. Justin Fields has had some stinkers, and I love Justin Fields, but none of his receivers have kind of shown him up in a way. Why is that? Because these Broncos teammates were like, oh, here comes Russell Wilson. Oh, man, he's won a Super Bowl. He's been to another. Oh, man, he's talking about, let Russ cook and the Broncos country, let's ride. Here we go. Man, we about to win the Super Bowl. And he's been worse than Geno Smith. Does that mean Geno Smith's better? No. But he's been absolutely atrocious. And to make matters worse, after the game, it's starting to get on my nerves a little bit with Russell Wilson. It's like the corniness is getting worse and worse. So he showed up to training camp wearing his own jersey. It's a little weird, but okay. And then he got the Broncos country, let's ride sort of catchphrase. And then after the game, after the loss, here's what he said.
Thank you, guys. Broncos country.
Bro, you lost. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. You lost the game. You played awful. You scored 9 points. It's starting to feel a little inauthentic on the part of one Russell Wilson. Yeah, I heard Kyle Brandt on Good Morning Football this morning say something very revealing about Russell Wilson. Kyle Brandt, Good Morning Football, great show on the NFL Network. And he was talking about how he did the NFL honors this past year in Los Angeles, right, for the Bengals-Rams Super Bowl. And it's like the Oscars meets the NFL. It's kind of like a mix between the two, right? It's at the Dolby Theater in I think it's the Dolby Theater, if I'm not mistaken, in Los Angeles, right? You got the NFL players in their Sunday best, right, with their girlfriends or wives and family. It's it's a great time. You usually have a Keegan-Michael Key or a Steve Harvey host the show, and there's some jokes and it's fun and people win awards. The MVP and the Man of the Year is presented that night. It's a big night for the NFL, and so everybody's ready to go. And Kyle Brandt was talking about how he saw Travis Kelce and hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Kyle? Travis Kelce's cool with him. Aaron Rodgers, hey, what's up, Kyle? How you doing? Aaron Rodgers cool with him. Russell Wilson and Sierra walked by. and essentially say, talk to the hand. We're not doing interviews. And Kyle Brandt said it felt like they were acting as if they were Beyonce and Jay-Z. And when you have, and I started to get a little suspicious about this after the Seattle game, after the Monday night loss in week 1. Seattle Seahawks teammates, 2 guys for the Seattle Seahawks went up to Russell Wilson. It was DK Metcalf, and I think a defensive player went up to Russell. You have Richard Sherman, even last night in the Amazon broadcast, taking shot after shot after shot at Russell Wilson. KJ Wright doing the same. It's like, okay. I've heard former Aaron Rodgers teammates take shots at him, most notably Greg Jennings. It's as if these guys don't even, it's like they hated playing for him. It's like I'm hearing the same things about Russell Wilson that I heard about Aaron Rodgers, and I rip Aaron Rodgers on the show for his leadership. Or lack thereof. Are we sure that's not the case with Russell Wilson, but he's just putting on a public face? And even if he were, could you at least back it up on the field occasionally? Could you not throw awful interceptions? Could you not throw passes that, your receivers are having to fight just to make sure it falls incomplete and doesn't get picked off? I mean, that red zone interception to Stephon Gilmore, what is Russell looking at? He seems timid in the pocket. He's not moving around as well as he used to. He's not throwing the ball deep as much as he used to. Some of this is coaching. But him missing those reads and those throws, that's not Nathaniel Hackett's fault. That's Russell's fault. That's on Russell Wilson. You can't blame that on the coach. We can blame him all we want, and he deserves a lot of it. And I don't think he is an NFL head coach. I think he should be fired either mid-season or at the end of this season. But the Denver Broncos, it feels like, and I never thought I'd be saying this before the season, they feel trapped. They feel trapped in what is becoming one of the worst contracts in professional sports in Russell Wilson. They are trapped with a quarterback who feels as inauthentic as they come. I criticize Aaron Rodgers. Aaron's Aaron. Okay. He's gonna win his MVPs, gag in the playoffs at home, and he's going to disappear, do his ayahuasca with Blue of Earth, and come back, wash, rinse, repeat. We know Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I've never criticized him for being, something that he's not, right? Russell, maybe a little something to that. Let's ride. Nobody wants to hear that. Okay, enough with the let's ride BS. You play like garbage. You looked awful. Your offense looks like 9 points. 9 points. I mean, come on. At home, I backed off of Denver as a Super Bowl contender a long time ago. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to live with the fact that I predicted them to beat the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, not the Buffalo Bills, to beat the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl in Arizona. My bad. But this feels a little inauthentic. Barry Grant Jr. says, love the hat, boss man. LOL. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Got to rep the grid. And he says, I think Seattle was trying to get rid of him instead of him leaving. Wilson's issue with his teammates in Seattle was partly Pete Carroll's fault, but his fakeness was what really was the issue. He's not genuine, and it shows. Yep. It's starting to feel like like you said, I think Barry put it well. It's starting to feel like Seattle was almost shipping him off. It feels like the Seahawks not only won the trade, but fleeced the Broncos. Who would have ever thought that in March? I certainly wouldn't have. But today, I've officially sold my stock on Russell Wilson. It's not selling for very much, obviously. It's a very low price. But whoever wants it can have it, because I'm out. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube. Be sure to click that big red subscribe button and go check out the other clips and full shows of Carving It Up Live. Have a blessed day.